Hi everyone, it's me again after 6 months and Aria. I've tried to videotape this at least 6 times now, and every time I start talking she needs her human. I don't understand why. If anybody gets a message for me, for Aria, that would be grateful. Anyhow, I've been gone for 5-6 months probably. I really needed a break. I was just going through a lot of things, and something that I won't get into right now, just a lot of work issues that I was dealing with very deeply. And so let's see, what have I been up to? Well, I just came back from the Secret Space program, and as you all know, it's, based off of people who were involved in 20 and backs, and probably all 20 and backs, but having to deal with being off planet, on planet, in different types of situations of slavery, and mostly slavery of some sort. So wow, it was very powerful and very strong, and makes you think a lot about what they may have gone through. So yeah, just got back from there this past weekend. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Of course, I got a kitty that is on my list, and she keeps nipping at me, being a brat. So I wanted to talk about some things that did come up while I was on my vacation at the conference. I had 2 different people come to me and ask me if I was still working on a particular conference that I worked on last March. And I explained, no, I am not working on that conference, and that I am no longer in contact with the individual who started it due to some miscommunication. But I will leave that at that. And, I wish that person the best, and I really do, and I bless them. And I've gone through a lot of trying to process that whole thing. And communities have basically gone in different ways, and there's been a lot of change. And if you want to know the story, you should come to me and you should ask me. But I had to, well, I didn't have to. A woman came up to me and she said, hey, I heard that you worked with reptilians. And so I had to set the story straight, and I sat with her, and she said, yeah, I would love to hear your story. And you know what? I think knowledge is really powerful, because when you understand something, it makes you wiser. And usually going to the source is really important. So I sat down and explained to her what had happened, and I really feel for those people that are hurting, because I worked with these reptilians, and let's just put it this way. I didn't work with them like on a one-on-one level. I worked with them, I guess you could say I did, but I worked with them on Twitter, and that was approximately 11 or 12 years ago, and I only worked with them for about 10 months, maybe even less, maybe 6 months, something like that. Because you know what, I was going through a hard time. I was just out of a really hard relationship. I was really down on myself. Come on, Aria, I need you to be funny. And they taught me how to own my shit, how to not project. They were teaching me so many amazing things that I don't feel like I would be the person that I am today. I would still have these old belief systems, and if it wasn't for them, I feel like I would have gone into a much deeper place in my life. I would not have known that I was a conduit for healing. I would not have known that I could telepathically speak to other beings and energies and work with my guides. I mean, that was something that I just didn't know. Even though I knew about Wiccan and I knew about, Druid societies that worked on with nature-based. So if it wasn't for these individuals who claim to be reptilians, I would not be where I am today. So these beings were benevolent and caring and kind and loving, and they would only tolerate the highest positive level of thought possible. Kitty. And they wouldn't tolerate anything less. And I got scolded quite a lot because, I was bringing down the vibration of the feed on the channel. At least that's what I was told. But I didn't know. I didn't know any better. And I know that they know that. And they had told me that many a times that they knew that I didn't understand that. As a matter of fact, their director, her name was Marianne, and she was apparently human, and she ran this group and taught them basically, I want to say, law of one material. Can I help you? Thank you. And she was teaching them all of this. And there was probably, as far as I understand, maybe 7 or 8, maybe. They had a commander. They had 3 individuals, I'm going to say individuals, that would tweet at the same time so they could hide their signature, so that they couldn't be found. And, everyone keeps, gossiping about me, and I'm totally fine with that now. Before, I was very frustrated and irritated by it, and I was really hurt because I was coming out with my truth, and people didn't believe me. And that is totally okay. It is now. But there are benevolent ETs out there, and let's see, Ivan Teller has been channeling some. Rebecca Rose came forward and spoke about some reptilians that had kidnapped her during her 20 and back while she was out on a mission, and she said that they were kind to her, they fed her, and then she said there was some weird thing that happened, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But there are so many people that are coming forward and they're talking about these benevolent, reptilians and benevolent draconians, and I have to tell y'all, they're not disconnected from source, because they are still source. They are a part of source. Everything is created by the creator, right? The prime creator, God, source, whatever you want to say, made all of us, right? If that's what we believe anyway. And that means that the reptilii, if I'm even saying that right, the mantis beings, the grasshopper beings, the spider beings, the Pleiadians, the Syrians, the Draconians, all across the board, okay? You get the gist. They were, ow, she just bit me. Not hard. Unexpected. Anyway, they are all a part of source, no matter what. They're not disconnected. They are still part of it, no matter what. Sorry, kitty. Stop. Oh my God. So I have always kept these with me. There are many different sayings that they would say in tweets, and to us that were working with them. So I wanted to share some, because I need people to just understand that they were benevolent They still are benevolent. They surpass me in all the things when it comes to energy, when it comes to vibration. And I appreciate those beings greatly. And I love them greatly for everything that they did for me, no matter what. So, excuse me, I'm going to read a few of these, and y'all can just discern for yourself. So the first step is admitting it needs to be changed. When a person learns to forgive, the need to vent, the pain ends. I'm getting a bit on my toes. Stop. You guys have all met Aria. I mean, seriously, girl. Really? This is a new thing for her. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Okay. Feeling is activated by giving yourself permission to feel and owning without judgment. Accepting responsibility for your creations. Feelings. Intend to connect with higher self. Ask guides to remove you from ego body and move into higher self. Hey, stop. You guys are all hearing this, right? This is like back talk right here. Clear the karma. Do not add to it with new people coming in. Meaning, it doesn't mean like not to allow others in, just clear the karma when new people are coming in. At one time I was without a job and my energy was kind of low. So they said, a job will help with energy. Intent for future. Intent. Learn to remove self from ego mind. You would not concern self with what has been or what's to come. Just what is. I am no longer a slave to the old paradigms. I am in service to all for the highest good for all. Their director, Miss X, which is what they called her, Marianne, she used to talk about the galactic core sun. She used to call it soul, or the galactic, soul. She just called it soul. And this was from her. Although I think I got this from the book that I was reading too, that they had suggested for me, that is written by, oh gosh, something Clark. Her name will come to me later. She's on Facebook. But anyway, Miss X had said, what lies beyond soul, which initiates and sustains our progress. Prepare for the twilight dawn of humanity's second era. 4 eras through which all species must progress if they are to survive. They must expand beyond their planet, solar system, galaxy, universe. It was an expansion, is what she was getting at. But she spoke about the galactic core sun and beyond soul. But she was very, very intelligent. I know that doesn't probably make any sense to you guys, but anyway. We rely on feeling the energy as a participant instead of knowing the energy as an observer. Stay in the feel of it, not be in it. So that's talking about reacting. Knowledge is the first key to upholding life. Wisdom is the second. First knowledge, second wisdom. Not the same. Meaning they're not the same. That which you give your energy and your emotion to becomes your reality. The thoughts you put out to the universe are what you attract to yourself. Kind of hearing a theme here. There is no I in team. There is no pride. Get rid of pride. They used to talk about that often, about how many of us are sitting in our ego and our pride and our thoughts, and it was always get rid of that and stay here, stay present. I once said to one of them, and I didn't know who I was speaking to. I had no idea because they would never really announce themselves. When I first began speaking and corresponding with them, And one of the things was, I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm a Leo, and Leos have pride. And next thing I know, I'm corresponding with their commander, like the next day, I think it was. And I could feel his energy come in, and he was scanning my body. And so let me just stop right there for a minute. He asked permission first. He said, may I scan your body? Because what you said hit a trigger. And I was like, how did that hit a trigger? But I can't remember because it was 11 years ago. So we went through this whole process, and I could feel his energy. And when he did it, he said, I knew you could feel my energy. I just wanted to test that out. And I was totally blown away. I wish that I could remember our conversation that we were having, and it was all typed out in private messages, and I would not be able to find those messages because they are deleted. They just are. I'm no longer in correspondence with them, so that is why. So, it was interesting that they said that I need to get rid of the pride, and yeah, so that made me think of that story when I read that. So some other ones to prove that they are benevolent beings is the word worry is not in my vocabulary. Only you control how you react. No expectations. Be in the moment while eating. Eat healthy, organic, unprocessed. No sugar, no alcohols. Drink water. Be truthful. Be mindful. Pay attention, stay positive, look around, stand in your power, observe with non-attachment, listen for direction from sound, open mind, ask questions, exercise, nature, all of this. I wrote this, 2010, I think. I think I recopied the same thing. Look around, pay attention, observe with non-attachment, listen for direction for every sound. They taught me about Ho'oponopono, I can't even say that right. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. 3 guidelines. Keep releasing emotional clutter, no emotion and feeling nothing. Do not rush it. Regularly deplete, meaning get rid of, regularly release. Recognition, is it mine or someone else's? Transmute. Understand instant karma, duality, transitional times, old karma, soul living, vibrations will rise. Each time you repeat a cycle, you are better. But it doesn't make the cycle stop. Not until you get rid of the issues. The core reasons you are having the cycles to begin with is because of issues. That's why you need the book to assess yourself. So there was a book they were having me read, and it was helping me to assess myself and to learn about myself. And so the book was it was written not in a linear pattern, it was non-linear. And so it kind of went from like this one subject, and then it would switch, but it was not of the same subject, and then it would go back to the subject, or like a third subject. And so not linear. But it helps your brain to connect in a different way as well. What is her name? I have to find the book. Let's see. Yeah, that was an issue that I was dealing with. One of the beings that worked with them, his name was Rubicon. That's what they named him. And he was not a reptilian being, because I asked. Because the 3 were, so it was BH, Black Hat, which also his name was Adam. And then there was Haas, and then there was Little Joe. And yes, they were named after the Bonanza group. That's what Miss X named all of them. But Adam would call himself BH because Adam used to wear, that black hat all the time. So he would just call himself BH. Oh, I am sorry. She got right under my feet. So yeah, I had asked, because they were all reptilian, what were some of the others? There was another being, his name was Octavian. Octavian actually told me to pray over my food. And I hated that. Like, at first I was like, ugh. I was like, seriously? And he said, do you know why we pray over our food? He said, to raise the vibration of our food before we eat it. Do you know how excited I got by that? I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I was like, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. So, you know what I did? I started praying over my food more often. Just being present and sending it love and sending love out, like Miss X had said, like to like the people, the food, the people who made it, the people who transported it, you know, just expanding it. And I would say, you know, I send love out on all levels, because if you just say, you know, it that way, you're sending it to all of those individuals and all those beings and all those energies that were involved in the process of it to get so that you could get it on your table or in your fridge or whatever. And so every time, not almost every time, but many times when I am blessing my food, Octavian comes to my mind, and he was such a gentle, soft energy, and I have no idea what he was. He could have been Arcturian for all I know. He could have been, I just don't know. Their commander, his name was Lucian, and Lucian, he was very strong in his abilities. Sometimes he still taps in every once in a while, and I can feel he's like over here somewhere sometimes, and I have to ask, like, oh, is that Lucian, you know? And I'm pretty sure BH sometimes taps in too with his signature and just to check up on me. He's the one that I worked with the most, BH, and BH actually worked with a lot of people because he understood more the human emotions and how humans were, because he worked with a lot of humans. And you know, he would, when I would cry, he knew I was just being stupid. He would say, you know, I'm not gonna fall for the human this human female emotion. He's like, this is you projecting. And I didn't realize it back then, but I do now, because it taught me a lot about, you know, why am I crying? Why am I feeling these things? But he would also say, you know, everybody gets a turn, you know, and it's funny how much I remember. And I've held on to a lot of these memories because to me they were very beneficial. And I feel like I learned a lot from them. Ow, hey, you stop. Miss Ornery down here, goodness. Guess I'm not giving you enough attention or something. Oof. You know, I've retained all this information because to me, I feel like it's very beneficial for me. And sometimes I'll just shuffle these cards sometimes, and I'll just be like, oh, I like that one. That's a good reminder. Very good reminder. I did go into my DMs in Twitter recently. I couldn't see what I was saying to them, but I could see what they were saying to me. And there was a time where my cat Jax, he was sick, and I was living in this woman's house, and I was so depressed, and I had just gotten out of this relationship, and I was going there a lot, and me and the woman in the house were having some difficulties because her and her daughter were being very manipulative to me, and it's a pattern that keeps happening, but I've been working through that. So things weren't going well. Ow, you brat, stop. Oi, she's being super ornery. Hey, sorry y'all, stop. So I was going through, and my cat was sick, and they said, do you understand why your cat is sick? And I didn't understand, but it was because I was in such a deep depression that it was affecting my kitty, and my kitty was taking it on for me. This is what they told me. And I realized that once I let it go, he started to get better. So a couple days later, he started to feel a lot better. And now I was through this 5-6 month depression, and my kitty currently, my sky kitty, not Aria, she's very stuffy, which she's not usually. I can usually, do some essential oils in the air, and it usually goes away for her, but this one has lingered on a long time. And recently I gave her some healing, and I apologized to her, and I said, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. You no longer have to hold this burden. You don't have to be my protector anymore. And I told her that it was time for her to let go. And it started to go away. And then I went on my vacation, and I've come back, and it's kind of developed a little more again. I don't know if she was stressed or not, but I've been working with her to try to get her allergies under control. And I think she was allergic to also the litter because it was made of grass, and I think she may have been allergic to grass. But anyway, I happened to read that just before the conference, before I left, maybe a week before I left, and it was a reminder to me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm projecting this energy, and so these things are happening around me, and the only one who can fix it is me. So I had to rein in all the things, and I came out of this box that I had been in for like 6 months. That was approximately the end of March, mid-March, that I came out of that. And God, did it feel good, because I was not standing in my power, and I was not loving myself, and I was so depressed because of all the things that were going on. And I was feeling very alone and isolated, and I don't have a community here, so that was very difficult. The only person I could really reach out to were like my dad and my cousin, and those are the two people that I felt I could really, really reach out to. So yeah, so when I saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh, and the tears came, and right now, like, I'm getting mushy just thinking about it. But I will always be grateful for these beings who are benevolent, and you can decide on your own. That's totally fine. But you know what? I'm not a bad person. And if you have questions, I would rather you just come to me and ask me, instead of saying, oh, there's Julie, that girl that worked with reptilians. Yeah, for about 6 to 8 months, 12 years ago. Get a clue by 4, because not all of them are wanting to eat children. Let's see. Ow! Stop! She's being a brat. Stop. No. One thing they used to say all the time, and I love this one, is trust the process. I never knew what that meant until like a little bit later. Once you learn something, you will always be tested. That's how the process knows if you got it. So we're constantly being tested. So that's why we have a lot of cyclical patterns as well in our life, I believe. And so therefore, just trust the process. Always remember this. Trust the process. They also used to tell me all the time, dream big, Julie. Dream big. Love that. Invite the guides of my highest good to continue their work with me, open to receiving the highest good only. Speak aloud in a resolved manner. Miss X used to say all the time, lead kindly lights. That's what she used to say to her guides all the time. Thought that was pretty cool. So, our benevolent reptilians used to say, it's all energy. You meet all energy with love. The only antidote that works. Dwell in love at all times. Love is the highest energy. Thank you, BH. Thanks, Octavian. Thank you, Haas. Thank you, Little Joe. Thank you, Miss X. Thank you, Lucian. Rubicon. Anyone else I missed? All you IQXSers. IQXS. You can find them on Twitter. It's been told to me recently that they are still on Twitter, but they don't really correspond as much. But the name of the group again is called IQXS, if you want to go check them out. They also have a couple of videos on YouTube that you can go check out as well. There's only like, I think 2 or 3. No patterns, no rear view mirror. Half the battle is recognizing them so you can change. Ow! Stop. They once said, on a tweet, they once said, not a single human can achieve alone what 2 human beings can do when attuned to the same vibration. Now, we all know what the power of prayer is, right? So, same thing with us all staying positive and being in a good place, then we can achieve so much. I think I may have already read this one on a different, I stuck it on a sticky so I could like make it really easy to read, I think. Each time you repeat a cycle, you are better. But it doesn't make the cycle stop. Not until you get rid of the issue. Assess yourself. I think I did read that one. To whom has been faithful in little will be given more. The universe tests so it can give you more. I believe I said that one recently too. So these plus more that I have are many of the things that IQXS, the benevolent beings who were pushed out of their societies because they did not believe in what was happening anymore and what they were doing and what they were being told to do in the same process. They left those communities because they didn't want to be a part of that anymore. Just like if a child was born into Satanism or Catholicism, Hinduism. I mean, I could do the whole list. And they didn't want to be a part of that anymore. Some of those people can't get away from their communities. And then they're found and they're killed. Or beaten, taken back and beaten. And enslaved once again into their societies. You know, we as humans actually have it really easy sometimes. And we don't realize it. And so I might suggest for all of you to pause before you judge any being. Because I truly, truly believe that all of us, even beings on different worlds, came to do what we are doing because that's what we agreed upon before we came here into existence. But you all can discern for yourself. So I want to thank you for hearing my story. Thank you for listening to all of the things that they may have said to me and that I hold very dear to my heart because they were there for me in a time that I really needed somebody. And they taught me a lot. And I will never forget that. And I will always be grateful to them. And you just don't understand. You will never be in my shoes. And the only way that you can understand is by asking me questions. That is the only way that you guys will understand. Ever. Anyway. So. I'm going to take a minute here because it got me a little emotional. And I'm going to see if anybody wants to come through and talk. And by the way, there is a background noise that sounds like an engine. It is my refrigerator. It's actually a bit loud. It's funny how I leave like one apartment, I go to another one just as loud. The the refrigerator. So, okay. Plus I have my cards, so maybe I'll even pull some cards, and first I'll see if there's anyone that wants to come through. The other night I tried to do a recording, and I did a recording, but again, Sky had interrupted more than once. I couldn't upload it, but I was asking the 36,159, at least at that moment, that's what the number was. It changes, it fluctuates. I never asked why, but I could probably ask them. And I asked them, hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? So let's see if they're around. Okay. But like, that's what we're talking about, raising your vibration. Because I'm doing the breathing, and so the 36,000 came in. $36,156 today, Julie. They say it's constantly fluctuating because we have those coming from Earth to our ship and back. Which, that makes sense. So I'm thinking that when they're on their ship together, they are a collective 36,000, whatever. Every time somebody comes and goes, or whatever being comes and goes, that's makes sense, right? As a collective, right? Consciousness, right? It's mostly true. Quiet. I'm getting some interference too. There's some being here that is a trickster, a jokester, or something. It's really interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we're not going to get a message tonight unless they pop in and while I'm doing some things. So I'm going to pull some cards then instead. But at least they tapped in to say hello. Sorry about that long pause there. I was trying to understand what was being said. Because for me, I'm more of a medical medium, and I do get messages, and it's telepathic, and I get messages through the cards, and yeah, that's just how I work. What message have you got for us humans? Might as well sing it, right? What have you got for us? Woo. Success. Success. Pretty card. It's funny because I actually did pull this card the other day when I did my first video, and Aria was getting up here 20,000 times. But I think I'm not really quite sure, so I'm gonna have to just pick something else because why success? Why is the collective of success? Was I supposed? Oh, because we've been suppressing ourselves. We've been staying in a box for so long that we forgot we should untie ourselves and get out of it. Whether it be our voice or creativity, or it's interesting. I pulled this card for a friend the other day too. Get down. So this is suppression, which is a very, very cool card. I don't think of this card as being negative. I think it is just because, I mean, there's those clouds that are above it, and there's always a way out, and they are zigzagged, but it's going to take a minute to get out, right? Because you have to navigate, right? So, getting a message in. I'm being told that I need more oxygen, just so you guys know. Maybe you all do too. Mitochondria keep coming up lately, so that tells me that, you know, about oxygen. And I keep getting it for other people that they need more oxygen. We need more walking, more, not just talking. So I think that a lot of us have been suppressed, and those walls are starting to break down. And there's that sky above. It's just going to take some time to navigate, but we're being successful in that process. That's what I feel this is. Thing to add to that for understanding. Oh, okay. So this card is basically, it's a woman. Believe it or not. She's being a miser. She's holding on to things, and she's kind of caged in there. And I think, so these two things I think are very, very similar. I don't go for the word. I'm not looking at the word morality. I'm looking at the card itself. Sorry about the lights. So I feel like she's caged in here, and she too has clouds above her and around her, and she's not letting go enough. So, but they're saying that as a collective, we have been not being so suppressed, and we're not being so caged in, and being, this is interesting. It kind of makes me think of, so I feel like there's this mature person that is very stuck in their ways, right? I mean, it's almost like they have, like, they have this, like, type of shirt right here that's very, like, very, maybe, like, pressed and, taken care of, and diligent about the way diligent, that's not the right word, very neat about their appearance, and they're not breaking out of their mold and finding their inner child. And inner child has been coming up for a lot of people this weekend. And so on here, it's like there's a child on the tiger, and there is success. And the world, it's success. There's more success in the world because people are coming out of their suppression. I wonder if that has to do with a lot with COVID too, and people are realizing and coming out of their cages and the realizations as well. But finding our inner child, that seems to be coming up a lot. So I don't know if there's anything else that I have to do anymore. I have a stink bug like flying around. It was distracting me while I was reading. Again. And it's down by me somewhere. Oh, great. Get it, Arya. So we're all participating. And this symbol is actually the double dorja. Double dorja? Yeah, double dorja, which is the monks use. I can never say that word right. But the monks use this in some of their ceremonies. But they're also, if you look really carefully, they are beings sitting at a table with their hands like crossed over. I don't know if it's not zooming in very well on it. But they have one hand up and one hand down like this. And in the middle, there's a spiral. And I have a kitty on my foot. And so to me, these look like ETs. They don't look like humans at all. And I think that was like done intentionally. So anyway, so we're all participating in the success of coming out of our suppression and from being caged in. And there's just happiness and success from coming out of that. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to say. And I really needed to get that off my chest about IQXS and having worked with them. Again, you know, you all should just come to me if you have an issue and you don't understand what is going on. Ask me a ton of questions. I just gave you a whole bunch of answers, like the things that were taught to me. They even taught me about crop circles. I mean, amazing. They told me I had to find my crop circle. And one day I was meditating. And so actually, before that, I kept going to them and I kept giving them all these different crop circles. I'm like, hey, what about this one? This is really cool. And I wasn't really feeling it. I just kept saying, oh, this is a really pretty one. Maybe this is it, or this is it. They were like, they call me Miss C because on Twitter my name is Caffeinated Tree, just so you guys know. So, you know, I kept, you know, sending them all these things. And then one day I was meditating. It was raining, pouring outside, thundering and lightning, and I got into this really deep meditation. And then, you know, all of a sudden I was like I popped right out of it. I went, oh my gosh, the windows are open downstairs. And I was living in that woman's house, right? So I went downstairs into the library. She had this room that was like a library. And I started closing all the windows, and I just happened to glance up on one of the shelves, and I kid you not, one of the books that was right on the shelf, on the spine, had an image of a crop circle. And it was a single Julia set, which I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know its name. And I find it funny that it's the Julia set. So I pick up the book, and I'm sitting down, and I'm like, this is really interesting. It was a book about ayahuasca, but the guy decided to put the crop circle on his book, and it was like, I think the name of the book is called 2012 or something like that, or something like that. Anyway, I was kind of flipping through it, and I was like, okay, why this book with a crop circle on it? Doesn't make any sense. Then I happened to glance on the top of, I have a stinky bug. Everybody want to see the stinky bug? Yeah. These things are jerks. Anyway, on top of the desk, I happen to be sitting there, and I kind of glance up, and I'm like, okay, there was one crop circle book facing me with all the other spines the other way, except for this one book. And it was a crop circle book. And I went, you are kidding me. There had to have been a stack about this high. And only one of the books with the spine facing me was a crop circle book. All the other spines were the opposite way. I kid you not. Absolutely kid you not. And I got so excited because I was like, oh my God. And so I grabbed the book. Take the other books off, grab the book, and I start looking through it, and I find the one that's on the side of the book, and lo and behold, it's called the Julia set. And I went, that's my crop circle. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's my crop circle. And if you don't know what it is, go look up the Julia set crop circle. It is a beautiful, very intricate, mathematically intricate crop circle. And so they taught me about crop circles, and finally I went back to them and I told them the whole story. I was like, yeah, I did this and and like what I just told you. And they were like, we will report this back to Miss X. She would be glad to know this. Well, they did. And she said, that's correct. That's her crop circle. Very good, Julie. You felt that one. And I was like, okay. But they never told me why. All they told me was that I could sit in meditation and I could place myself in that crop circle and some amazing things would happen, because there is no time and space, right? And because there's no time and space, we can go to those spots and those places and be there during that time and be in the energy of it. And so I've tried to do it 2 times, but I get really like excited and flustered and I can't concentrate. So maybe one day I'll do it again and I'll let you know how that works. If I'm not here, you know that something amazing happened, because only the amazing things ever do happen, right? We just don't think so. But so yeah, that's my story. I just wanted to share with you all, and just know that even though you guys all have conflict with me, those who have conflict with me, just know that I love you very, very much. You guys are always in my heart, no matter who it is. Even those who have, helped me with an experience that I didn't feel was at first a good one. But know that I came here and you came here to work on these things and to go through them. And I'm trying very hard to understand the different roles that we've all played in our lives, and the situations we've been in. And, I'm not perfect. But I also am not like a lot of other people, and it's hard to explain who I am and what I am. And so I don't make very good conversation in public. It's kind of weird. I got a gnat in here too. Got a gnat and I got a lot of flying things in here. So if you want to get to know me, just say so. If you want to ask questions, here I am. I'm going to be starting a Patreon page here pretty soon. I'm available for card readings, for bringing through your guides or ETs. I am here to do long distance healing, as I said. Yeah, so there you have it. But that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go now because I've been babbling way too much. I've been saying a lot. And. So, everyone have a wonderful evening, day, or night, wherever you may be. And I send you all much, much love. Thank you for being here and watching. I appreciate it.